Noah Lyles just made an announcement, and it is not the easy choice everyone expected. The fastest man on the planet right now is returning to a stadium that once handed him a defeat he clearly has not gotten over. Same city, same track, same roaring crowd. But this time, he is switching events, and that one shift changes the entire story around this race. Here is the news. Lyles will race at the 2026 Athletissima Diamond League meeting in Lausanne, Switzerland, on August 21st. This is the 51st edition of Athletissima, staged at the Stade Olympique de la Pontaise. It is one of the oldest stops on the entire circuit and one of the loudest. Athletes describe that stadium almost like footballers describe a fortress home ground. The noise doesn't just surround you, it sits on top of you. And here's the twist. He is not lining up in the 100 meters. He is going back to the 200. That matters enormously, because the 200 is Lyles' signature event. It always has been. He's a 4-time world champion at that distance. The 100 is the race that made him a household name, but the 200 is the race that made him great. Whenever Noah Lyles steps into the half lap, the entire sport leans in, because that's where he does his most dangerous work. To understand why this decision is such a big deal, you have to look at what just happened in New York. On July 24th, at the USA Track and Field Outdoor Championships at Icon Stadium, Lyles ran the 100-meter final. He came out of the block slowly, noticeably behind the field. Then he hit top gear, ran through everyone in front of him, and crossed the line in 9.79 seconds with a legal wind of 0.8 meters per second. That's the fastest 100 meters run anywhere in the world so far in 2026. It also matched his own personal best, the exact time he ran to win Olympic gold in Paris back in 2024, and it gave him his third U.S. 100-meter title. Behind him, the race was razor close. Ronnie Baker took silver and Kenny Bednarek took bronze, both clocked at 9.88. Baker edged that silver by just 0.05 of a second. Christian Coleman, the 2019 world champion, finished fourth in 9.93. That is a stacked field, and Lyles still beat all of them by nearly 1/10 of a second. What stood out most was that he never looked rattled, not even for a second. Speaking to NBC right after the race, he said the gap had already been closed in his head before he even crossed the line. Then there's the semifinal, which might actually be the more frightening run of the two. In that round, Lyles ran 9.76. It came with a 2.1 meter per second tailwind, so it won't count for records, but he still produced 2 runs in the 9.7 second range on the same night. Nobody else in the world is anywhere close to that kind of form this year. Lyles later said it was technically his best race so far this season, and revealed that in training the week before, he'd clocked a hand-timed 9.6, so he already knew a 9.7 was coming. Running it once, he said, was nice. Running it twice was a confidence booster. And he wasn't done talking. He said this year's performances were really just him confirming he's still the fastest man alive, almost casually. Then came the line that got everyone's attention. He called this whole season playing around, and warned that next year people won't be getting the relaxed, easygoing version of him they've seen so far. He said he's already got plans, and he sounded like he meant it. That 9.79 also cost someone else the world lead. Before New York, Jamaica's Oblique Seville held top spot with a 9.82 run in Kingston. Lyles took that away from him. Remember that name, because it's about to come back into this story. Now here's how Lyles actually built his season. He opened in April with a 19.98 in the 200, solid, but nothing close to his usual standard. In May, he traveled to Tokyo for the Seiko Golden Grand Prix and won the 100 at the National Stadium in 9.95. He was scheduled to double up with the 200 there too, but cramp cut that run short, and he never got to show what he had over the full distance. It was one of the few unfinished threads in an otherwise clean season. Since then, almost all of his training and focus has clearly been aimed at the 100, which is exactly why choosing Lausanne is such an interesting move. He's stepping back into the 200 at a stadium where he already has a score to settle. Last year, at that very same track in Lausanne, Oblique Seville beat him in the 100 meters, the second time in a month Seville had done it, after also beating him in London. Seville went on to become world champion that year. For Lyles, that stretch marked the low point of his season, and Lausanne sat right in the middle of it. So this isn't just another stop on a long calendar. It's a place tied to a memory he clearly hasn't let go of, and Lyles is the type of athlete who keeps score. But that same stadium has also been very good to him. Back in 2018, he won the 200 there in 19.69, matching the world-leading time at that point in the season. In 2022, he returned and won again in 19.56, one of the fastest times run anywhere that year. Michael Norman finished second that night in 19.76 and was never really in it. When Lyles is on, that track suits him perfectly. Now consider the bigger picture, because it explains a lot about his choices this summer. There are no Olympics in 2026. There's no World Championships either. That makes the Diamond League title the single biggest prize available in the sport this year, and every serious sprinter knows it. Lyles already holds 6 Diamond League trophies, more than any other track athlete in the history of the series. A 7th would tie the all-time record across every event in the sport, not just sprinting. Every meeting between now and the end of the season is about banking points, and Lausanne is one of the last real opportunities to do exactly that. The Diamond League final lands in Brussels on September 4th and 5th, which puts Lausanne close to the business end of the season, the point where legs are tired, the year feels long, and the pressure is at its highest. Getting it right that late is a skill of its own. There's one more layer worth sitting with. All year, Lyles has been proving he still belongs at the very top of the 100 meters. He has the world lead. He has the national title. He's matched his personal best. The 100 has given him everything he could have asked for in 2026. The 200 is not. He opened with a 19.98, and his only other real attempt ended in cramp in Tokyo. For a 4-time world champion in that event, that's unfinished business, and he's chosen the biggest possible stage to go settle it. So here's what August 21st actually looks like. A sprinter in the best 100-meter form of his career, openly saying he's only been playing around this year. A stadium where his last visit ended in defeat. His best event back on the schedule. And a Diamond League title waiting at the end of it that would tie him for the record books all over again. He's told everyone what's coming. Lausanne is where we find out if he can actually deliver on it.